give it up to the youth. Loyal to the squad if we win or we lose. It is in our veins, that orange and the green running through and through. Cause you know we want it, your squad versus ours, now they don't really want it. Our pedigree's deep with pros in abundance, get ready for the storm cause the hurricane's coming. Let's give it up to the youth, loyal to the squad if we win or we lose. It is in our veins, that orange and the green running through and through. Cause you know we want it, your squad versus ours, now they don't really want it. Our pedigree's deep with pros in abundance, get ready for the storm cause the hurricane's coming.
What's good, Miami Hurricane fans? Man, what a week in sports it has been for myself. Now, not only did my Braves clinch their 5th straight divisional title, but my Miami Hurricanes hosted Texas A&M, a game that they got away from the last season. A&M beat them 17-9. But this year, I have said it all along, this is a different Miami Hurricane squad. Change defensive coordinators, change offensive coordinators, and you've seen how this team operates. TVD looks like the TVD that we seen 2 years ago under Rick Lashley. You know what I'm saying? When he took over for Derek King, he went on 5 straight wins, 100 yards each game passing. I mean, just slinging it. You see how TVD was more control of the offense. You see how TVD was able to navigate the offense the way it's supposed to. And then on top of that, let me add this caveat. And my Washington Commanders pick up their home win yesterday. So yeah, all 3 of my teams. But this is all about the Miami Hurricanes right now. So I'm recapping this game because I didn't have a chance Saturday night to recap this game because I had to get up the next morning to go to FedEx Field. But nevertheless, I'm always going to bring y'all the updates. You know that. So the beginning of the game didn't pan so well for the Miami Hurricanes. You know why? Because special teams was a problem. But that gave Colorado a 7-point lead. Then they gave them a 10-point lead. Now Miami did came back after that because they was down 10-7. And Miami had to start navigating. They had to start finding a way. They had to settle down to get back in, even though they was not doing good on special teams. But nevertheless, Miami, in the second quarter, they was down 17-7. Then they scored a touchdown. Tyler Van Dyke hit Isaiah Horton for a 52-yard bomb. Yes, that's what I was talking about. Because I said it in my recap of the last week's game. Miami needs to stretch the field on them. They need to take more shots. You're going to see Miami actually open up that offense more and more. Shannon Dawson is a mastermind in this offense. He knows how to get his team. Now, we seen the run game the first game. We saw in the passing game. Tyler Van Dyke looked comfortable. And guess what? As turn of events came, Miami started doing their thing. Tyler Van Dyke hits Jacoby George for an 11-yard touchdown. We took the lead, 21-17. A&M came back in the third quarter, got a field goal out of it, 21-20. Miami came back down again. Bashar Smith broke the backs of A&M. 98-yard touchdown kickoff return. Made it 28-20. Guess what? Miami went down the field. And Morales kicks a 34-yard field goal. Miami went up 31. A&M came back and got it down to a single score. It was 26-31. Miami wasn't done. They pushed it down the field again. Jacoby George with his second touchdown of the game. Miami went up 38. Then, after it was all said and done, Miami capped off with another field goal, made it 41. Then Miami took the ball again, drive down the field. Thomas scored on the 9 yards. No, A&M scored on the 9 yards and made it 32-41, which the game was pretty much over around that time because it was around about the 5 or 6 minute mark because Miami scored in the 6 minute mark to the field goal. Then A&M came back with 5 minutes left in the game. Then Miami took the ball down, had the ball to score, and guess what? Jacoby George again for his 3rd touchdown of the game, 64 yards. And that was the game winner. Miami really lit them up through the air. I think A&M was worried about the running game because they probably looked at tape from last week and said, okay, we can't let them run the ball. And then Tyler Van Dyke didn't look good in the passing game last week. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of stuff that we left out there. So guess what? The defense had to figure out which Miami team. They knew that. And then on top of that, Miami defense played pretty well. I'm sad to say that, Cam Kitchens got hurt in the game, but he's all right. That was a scary moment for us. We didn't want to lose him. And I think that now Miami has Miami schedule now. Miami has Bethune-Cookman, Temple, then they have a bye week, and then they have Georgia Tech on October 7th. So, and then the 14th, they have North Carolina. So, with that being said, hey, that's good. You know what I'm saying? Because the fact of the matter is that Cam Kitchens could heal. He could come back. They might keep him out the Georgia Tech because really they might not need him for the Georgia Tech game. So if you think about it, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He'd come back the 5th week with that bye week, and then he could rest up and then get ready to come back and play Georgia Tech October 7th, then be ready for the North Carolina game. So yeah, pretty much so. I think that's going to be the model for him because Miami can still plug other guys in his spot. You want him to heal up. You don't want to come back on the field fast and then work him way in. If he do be back for the Georgia Tech game, then that's a game he has under his belt where he literally could go ahead and prepare to be in for that. And I think, and honestly, I believe Miami will be. Like I said, North Carolina gives us a fits, so I can't really, get too excited over that. But I have this feeling that Miami could win that North Carolina game and have Clemson at home beat them before they play Florida State. That's the game that's because if Florida State go undefeated and Miami goes undefeated and these two play each other, you probably see them play again for the ACC championship game. Just saying. But nevertheless, Miami's defense looked really good. They really looked good. They looked at the way they needed to. I like how Miami is holding steady. They not. You got to think about it. Cam Kitchens played this behind Jacoby George. Even though he had trouble on special teams, he made up for it. He came back and contributed in that game. You know what I'm saying? If you think about it, if you go back to the stats of that, Jacoby George had 3 touchdown passes, 5 for 97. He was targeted 6 times, 5 catches for 94 yards. You know what I'm saying? Xavier Streppel had 126 yards with 6 catches and target 9 times. Then Kobe Young, he had 75 yards catching. He was targeted 8 times, caught all 6 and caught 6 of them. You know what I'm saying? Tyler Van Dyke threw for 371, 5 touchdown passes, only was sacked twice in the game, and he only missed 8 targets, and he was 21 for 30 passing. So that was good for him. You know what I'm saying? That was really great. Our running game wasn't that good a little bit. You know, we didn't run, like I said, we didn't run the ball effectively enough because I think A&M was too worried about our run game. You know what I'm saying? Especially how they ran the ball last week. And then teams is going to try to figure out how to play us now because now they know we can run the ball. Now they know we could pass the ball. And if we get all these guys that was catching the ball, like Estravier, Jacoby George, Kobe Young, and all of them guys, it's going to put so much pressure on a team. By the time we play like North Carolina and Clemson, it's going to be a different feel for us. Miami is going to be so much explosive, and I think now this is the most points Miami put up on a top 5 opponent in probably 2 years, I could say, because you think about it. The first game, they scored 30-something points. This game, they scored almost 50 points on A&M. Now, A&M had 31, but a couple of them was late because the game was pretty much out of hand. I predict this game that Miami was going to win them. I said, if Miami wins this game, they're going to go to North Carolina undefeated in a hostile atmosphere in a game that they need to win. If they beat North Carolina in North Carolina, by the time they play them, I don't have no doubt they'll beat Clemson at home. That's why I feel that, because I don't think North Carolina is strong enough to beat us. I don't think North Carolina defense is good enough to beat us. I think our defense is good enough to beat them, because I feel like the pressure is on Drake May in North Carolina. But anyway, we'll get to that to another time. But just the fact that Miami was able to do the things that they needed to do resonates a whole lot for me, because I like that what I have seen from them. I feel that Miami is going to start now gathering a lot. You know, tight end Cam McCormick is going to play better. He only had one reception for 20 yards, but you're going to see a lot more of him in the passing game. The more weapons that they can utilize in the passing game for Talibanic, the more dangerous this offense is going to be. Then it's going to really open up the running game a whole lot more than it has been, because you're going to have you got Chaney, you got Fletcher, you got Harris, then you got the other guys that come off the bench. Like I said, Bashar Smith, that 98-yard kickoff return was immaculate. It was stellar, because that right there was the game changer of the game. That made it 28. It went from 21 to 28 quick, and that's when, you know, Texas A&M knew they was in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Now, both of these teams had gotten better, but I think Miami got a little bit better than A&M. And I think Miami wanted to show. Miami didn't want to do anything. Now, Miami next game is at Bethune-Cookman. They will be on the ACC network, and that game's set for 7:30. So I'll definitely be locked in and loaded to watch that. But the players of the game for that is McCormick, the tight end, Taliban Knight, Xavier Strepro, and Jacoby George. Like I said, Jacoby George had his troubles on special teams, but he made up for it in the passing game. Isaiah Horton, you start getting him in the game a little bit more. Now, defensive players of the game also was Jaden Davis and James Williams, the safety and the cornerback. They played outstanding. They played outstanding games, and this is why I say that. Last year at Mauritia, how we was getting beat on so much the pass. Yeah, we gave up some stuff here and there, but these guys really, really did it. You know what I'm saying? So hats off to all them guys, Rashard Smith, all of these guys. The offensive line starting to gel a little bit better. It's going to be looking, all I can say, it's going to be starting to look a little bit different for the Miami Hurricanes. Now, they play Bethune-Cookman, which I should be on my show tomorrow night, going over that and what I expect for that game. I think Miami needs to blow them out. Simply fact, blow them out. Let the others, like I said, if you go in these games blowing teams out, you got one more game, you got Temple, you easily could take care of Temple, go in the bye week, get everybody back healed again, come back ready to play Georgia Tech, then North Carolina, then Florida State. I mean, not Florida State, but Clemson. You be ready to roll. If you roll these next two teams hard, like I'm saying, like score 50-something points. Like they should have beat Miami, Ohio worse. But I think I'm glad they saved the best for Texas A&M. Like I said, putting them almost 50 on the A&M team, that says a lot. I like it. I want them to continue. This team is going to get better. Each week, you're going to see an onslaught with this team. Now they opening up a little bit more. Shannon Dawson is starting to open it up. You see how comfortable TVD is throwing the ball. I love it when he's like, I'm telling you, I've been a TVD fan for a long time. And I always say TVD was better than Jake Garcia. I'm not saying that I didn't like Jake, but I just knew who was better. Tyler Van Dyke, you get him in the right system, you'll see the things he do. Shannon Dawson runs a West Coast type of system, like Kyle Shanahan, Andy Reid, and all of them. And you put him in that kind of system and let him throw. He's kind of like a Tom Brady type of quarterback, Peyton Manning. He doesn't have the greatest of mobility, but he has the arm strength to get the ball where he needed. And I think Tyler is going to love it more and more because he wants to put up them Heisman numbers. He wants to be in that conversation too with Caleb Williams or Shedeur Sanders. And if Miami continues to win, he's putting up numbers like that. You had 5 touchdown passes over almost 400 yards Saturday. That's stellar. You know what I'm saying? So great win for the Miami Hurricanes. Prayers up for Cam Kitchen. Glad he's doing all right. Let's get him well rested, not to rush him back, bring him back when we need him back. I think the others will step up. I think the others will provide the much needed situation for him in his place. Yeah. This ain't the same Miami Hurricanes, guys. This is a whole different team. So with that being said, catch me tomorrow night at 8 o'clock when I host my podcast show, Canes on the Daily. My good friend, and I call him my fam, Donnie will be with me. We're going to talk everything Canes, recap this game, look forward to the next game for Saturday. And you know how we do. Until then, it's all about the U.